There, Reefers, welcome back to another episode of Dreaming Reef. So today's episode, right, we are actually going to do an aquarium tour. So a couple of weeks ago, I actually had a chance to actually visit Life Malaysia. So this is pretty near us. It's only just at JB Legoland. So it's only about, without traffic, right, it's about 3 hours drive up from Singapore. So as we enter here, it's a pretty small aquarium, so I will just walk you guys through on what they have and what is interesting around the aquarium itself. So this is the entrance display itself. It's a tank full of a lot of the blue-green chromies, and it's actually a tidal pool, so once in a while you actually do see a gush of wave just gushing into the tank itself. But I'm trying to wait for it, but then it doesn't appear when I'm taking it. So I'll just leave it there. I will just head into the aquarium itself. So being in Legoland itself, right, the entire theme park is actually themed with, as you know, it's Lego, right? So the whole theme park is actually being themed with the Lego theme itself. So this is one of their first display. They have a very nice sized Lego inside, and the tank is really filled with a lot of damsel fishes. There are a couple of butterflies. There is a blue tank. It's a very simple tank. It's a very simple display, but as you guys can see, the tank is filled and it's really full of life. So we'll just look at the tank a couple of more. They have a couple of damsels, there's cleaner wrestles, there's a blue tank there. There's, not wrong, there are a couple of clarkies inside as well. So I'll just step back and I will show you the entire overall area. So this is the front entrance of the aquarium before we actually head down to the other displays. So once you pass this, right, there will be a flight of stairs for you guys to actually head down. So as we walk down the stairs, we will be entering to our first actual exhibit itself. So as you keep walking, there is a lift there, and once you enter the entrance, right, you make a right turn, you will be at its first exhibit itself, which I pretty find this very amazing. It's actually a 360-degree tank. So the tank itself is actually filled with a lot of yellow belly fusillas. So the whole tank itself, as you can see, you can actually go round and round and round it, and you can actually see huge schools of fusillas all around it. So it's a very interesting exhibit itself. Is a very interesting display because it is a very good idea to actually house large number of schooling fishes, because they just keep going all around you. And such displays are very nice if you keep things like fusillas or even smaller items, your schooling fishes like sardines and sidlas and so forth and so on. It's a very nice display to keep large amount of schooling fish. So once we pass out of the schooling fish area, right, we enter into their rainforest freshwater zone. So they have a couple of really nice exhibits here, which I will show you guys right now. So as you guys can see, right, the tank itself is packed. It's packed with a lot of small little fishes. They pack it with a lot of tetras, gouramis, there's barbs here and there. So the first tank you can actually see over here, right, there's a lot of small little fishes, and the tank looks really filled. It's looking really very busy for the whole tank itself, so it really keeps your eye on a lot of things moving here and there. So as we move on, right, the animal size gets a little bit bigger. The tank right next to it, right, they actually have a school of tinfoil barbs, and right in front of you guys, what you guys see over here is a very large freshwater display itself, which I will show you guys later. But first of all, I'll show you guys the tinfoil barbs display. So as a very new aquarium, right, most of their collections are actually very small right now, but just give them a couple of years, well, they will really grow into a very good size. So we move over to their kampong hut. If I'm not wrong, this exhibit itself is named a kampong hut. So inside houses a lot of different tetras as well. There is quite a good amount of angel fishes, which I will show it to you guys. So they have a lot of displays, a lot of panels from all sides of the entire exhibit itself. So we can actually take a round, look around stuff here and there, and I will walk into the little tunnel here and I will show you the both side of it. So like I mentioned before, right, this tank itself actually filled with quite a lot of angels. So freshwater angels are really beautiful. They have very nice long fins, and it actually brings a lot of colors, a lot of life into the exhibit itself. So as you guys can see, the angels here are very healthy. They're actually feeding really well. But one thing that really catches my eye, right, it's all these little simple fishes that actually fills up freshwater tanks itself. So I'm never really a freshwater guy, but then I always love all the small little tetras, because when you keep them in a whole school, right, I really love fishes that can actually school together. And as you guys know, that saltwater schooling fish, right, they tend to get very big, so it's very hard for us to keep as a hobbies, as display. But for freshwater, you can actually have a very nice amount of schooling fishes, like your tetras, your neons over here. They have a couple of barbs and gouramis around the entire display itself, so the whole tank is actually being dense up with a lot of fake artificial grass here and there. So it actually gives a lot of these little fishes, right, a lot of space to hide here and there. So as you can see, they're not very shy, they're not skittish, and they are really out all the time. So once we pass by the kampong hut, right, we actually enter this little walkway here where they have this small little 4 dome tanks. I'm not going to show you all 4, but I'll show you one of them that I'm really very interested of, which is this exhibit itself. This small display houses a school of amber tetras. So I love amber tetras due to their colors. Amber tetras are bright red, they are really glowy red, and they have this somehow like this translucent body where you can actually see into them. So this is one fish that if I ever use to freshwater, right, this is one fish that I want to get. So just right at the end of it, right, it's their touch pool, which I'm not really going to show you guys much about it. Firstly, because touch pool, I'm never really a fan of touch pool. I never really like the idea of having guests touching the animals. So it's a very simple area. They house a couple of inverts here and there. There's no fish. I believe there's a few, but not very much. So we move on to their seahorse nursery. So this is one area that I actually spend quite a lot of time with, because this is it's a small zone, but then they actually house quite a few different type of seahorses. And seahorses are a very interesting animal itself. They are fish. So, and the cool thing about them, right, is that as most of us know that the males carry the young ones. So it's very easy to tell them apart. As long as you see those with very big bellies, right, chances are they are your males, while the slimmer, skinnier body ones, right, the tummier ones, those are most probably your female. So they actually have a very nice large display of the larger seahorse over here, and on top of it, right, they have a small nursery to house all the smaller seahorses. And right beside there is another 2 more cylinder tank here, which houses other species of seahorse as well as a couple of anemone fish. They have some razor pipefish on top as well, but the focus here are the seahorses, so I'm just going to give you guys the pictures and the videos of seahorses only. Yeah, because the video is a bit long, so I don't really want to drag you guys with a lot more extra other footages, so I'll just hit straight to the point and just show you guys the iconic stuff that they have in the aquarium itself. So the seahorse, they have a few different designs, they have a few different species. So I've always wanted to do a seahorse tank also, but then I don't really have a small nano tank right now. Actually, I do have a 14 gallon, but that tank is actually going to be used for something else, which I will show you guys in the future projects ahead. But probably maybe in the near future, if I ever chance a smaller tank, I will probably do a seahorse dominated tank. So we'll stay tuned to that, and we will move over to the next area. So this is called the Stingray Bay. Somehow they said here is coming soon, so I believe it's not really done yet, but the exhibit itself, right, is actually filled with quite a number of fishes already. So they have a good collection of the cow-nose rays. So they are still very small, they are still looking very juvenile-ish size. They have the blue spotted stingray at the bottom as well. Those blue spots are actually fairly large, and you can actually see them because the tank itself is a very shallow display itself, right? They are actually most of the time out front, so you can actually see the rays moving here and there. It's a circular tank, so you can actually see the cow-nose ray keep going round and round and round. So the tank itself is very lively. You get all these cow-nose rays, as well as you get a lot of schooling fishes as well. They put in quite a lot number of the blue striped snapples, so it's a very lively tank. It's very brightly lit. You get a lot of schooling fishes going here and there. And they also have one of my favorite carpet sharks, which are the applet sharks. I really like them a lot because of the patterns, the colorations they have. So move over next to the coral reef, which I am a little disappointed in. So when I first entered here, right, I saw coral reef. I was expecting live coral, but sadly for the aquarium itself, right, they do not have any live coral display. So once you enter this zone, right, you get a tank itself that is filled up with artificial corals, and inside there they have quite a number of different types of the cardinal fish, which later on I will show you, right? They have the Bengai cardinal, they have the pajama cardinal, they have a clown over here, they have a couple of smaller fishes here and there. So it's not a very impressive tank itself. It's a tank that is filled with quite a number of common fishes, and as you can see, right, because it's a artificial tank, the life is not a live coral tank, right? It's really nothing that actually catches my attention over here. So this is the overall of the tank looking itself. So when you enter, right, you're expecting a coral tank, but then when I see this, it somehow dropped the expectation a little. So just right beside it, right, they have another tank which I don't really understand. It's this tank over here, because it's part of the coral reef itself, but then I've never really understood what's with the lighting and everything. Like, it's pretty hard to get a good footage of it. The lights itself is pretty weird. There's like purplish on one side, red on another side, so something that I don't really understand. So next we move over to the jelly section. So the jelly section is not very big. They only have one display itself, which is this over here, which houses a couple of moon jellies. So every aquarium will need a jelly display. Firstly, because they are very, very nice to take photos of. Usually if you go to any aquariums, right, jellyfish displays are usually dark, and it's always lit up by all the different types of LED colors for you guys to actually take. It's mainly for guests to actually come in and actually get a very good Instagram worthy picture, which you can see over here, right? It's lit very nicely and it actually glows really nicely. So as you pass by the jelly section, right, you have to head down again. So as we keep walking down, you will be entering to their final zone area. So this is one area that I actually really like a lot. So it's also one of their largest display they have in Sea Life Malaysia already. So it's actually called the Ocean View. So it houses a couple of sharks and a very, very nice fish that I really love a lot. So yep, we are at the final area of the Ocean View. So once you enter here, right, you're actually greeted by this really large panel over here. So this is their main panel for the largest aquarium they have on display. So in this aquarium, right, they houses a couple of black-tip sharks, they have a zebra shark, and they have one fish that I really love a lot, which if you can see, right, it's the Napoleon wrest. So this Napoleon wrest is a fairly large Napoleon wrest. It's not a small Napoleon wrest that you guys get. This guy here is huge. I'll give you guys a close-up on the Napoleon wrest itself. So I really love Napoleon wrest because if you guys ever work with Napoleon wrestlers before, right, these guys are very, very intellectual. These guys are smart. They can observe you, they observe patterns, they somehow are able to think on their own, and they are so beautiful. They are the largest wrest species. So Napoleon wrest can get up to about more than a meter long, and this guy over here, it's almost there already. The size of it is just huge. It's just big. The colors are really good. You have the couple of, I think there's about 4 to 5 black tip sharks on top. You have one zebra sharks up there, and there's a lot of different type of schooling fishes here. There's a rabbit fish, there is snappers, there is one emperor snapper that I will show you guys later on. It's a very nice sub-juvenile adult stage emperor snapper, which is this guy over here. He is still not at his full adult coloration yet, but give this tank probably another couple of more years, right, I believe that this tank itself will flourish into a very stable and a very mature display. So being in Legoland, right, you cannot not have Legos inside. So they actually have put in this Lego submarine there to actually build the entire team up, which is pretty nice. So they call this the sunken shipwreck display. So once you pass the main panel itself, you actually head over to the little tunnel over here, where you have a couple more little small exhibits to walk you by before you actually go into the ocean tunnel. So the first tank over here, you can see, right, so this entire area here is actually been replicated to look like a shipwreck. So you get a lot of wrecks here and there, a lot of fake or the artificial decay stuff here and there. They have an emperor angel inside, which just move up. This is just right in front of you right now. So once you pass by this, right, they actually have a very interesting tank. So one thing I noticed about this aquarium itself, right, they love the pyramid butterflies. Almost most of their display have pyramid butterflies, and this is one display that actually houses quite a huge number of pyramid butterflies. So I'm always in love with the pyramid butterflies because they are very interesting, they are very nice. I like the colors on them, the bright yellows, the whites, and how they actually get them all together and get them feeding so well, right? This is one particular display that I really like quite a lot. But one thing that I don't like about a public aquarium, right, is to have too many duplicates in all their different displays. Like you can have one very nice like this tank itself that showcase all the pyramid butterflies, right? But then if you actually have the chance to come here, right, you notice that most of their tanks do have 1 or 2 pyramid butterflies in them. So this is the overall of the entire tank itself. So as you guys can see, like what I mentioned earlier, right, if you have just a tank itself with a lot of butterflies, it looks good. And just right beside it, right, they have this another nice tall cylinder tank, which actually is the right side of the main panel itself. So over here you can actually see the rack, and in the rack itself, so being a team aquarium, right, these guys are very good with their detail. So as you can see inside, right, it's not just a fish, but you can actually see a lot of details here and there. And being in Legoland, you have Legos here, there, all the displays that actually comes together as a very nice team aquarium. So this is one more of their display, which have a couple of banner fishes. And we move over to the last one over here, which actually house their moray eels. They actually showcase something like a symbiotic thing between the morays and the cleaner streams itself. So they have a very nice show size angel over here. And aside from the angel itself, right, I will see if I can get you guys a couple of footages of the moray. So they have, if I'm not wrong, about 1 to 2 of them inside here, which is this one of them actually came out and actually let me take this footage for you guys. So an aquarium without a moray tank, it's quite sad. So I always love moray displays. So the last exhibit they have over here is a tank full of the rabbit fishes. So over here they have a pretty nice size tank which houses a lot of the rabbit fish. As it's feeding time, so you should get them to feed here and there. So we move over to the last part of the entire aquarium tour, which is the ocean tunnel. So here is the last final area where the ocean tunnel is, which is actually at the back of the main panel itself. So here you can actually go in and be immersed into the entire exhibit itself. You can actually see fishes, sharks from all over you. You can actually have a closer look at the Napoleon rest here as well. They have the zebra shark right in front of you, and this is one place where I can actually get an up close footage of the Napoleon rest, which I will show it to you guys. Yeah, it's over here. So as you can see, it's really big. It is probably a male Napoleon rest because of the bump on his head, right? So as Napoleon rest gets bigger, right, they start to develop this bump when they turn to male. So I'm really in love with this guy. If I'm not wrong, this guy came from Cairns Marine, and it's one of a very beautiful display. And every aquarium should have a Napoleon rest because they are really just a show stunning piece in the aquarium itself. So as we move over from that, right, we see other stuff like the black-tipped reef sharks over here. Aside from black-tipped reef sharks, we have a lot of different schooling fishes, which is like the pyramid butterfly again. For the pyramid butterfly, we have the blue line snapper. We have a couple of different types of tanks. We have other wrestlers. And let me see what else we have. Yeah, more snappers here and there, more rests. And we will do another tour of the entire area here before I end this video itself. So we have already come to the end of the entire tour. So this video is a bit long because as an aquarium tour, right, there's a lot I want to show you guys, but then I'll try to cut it down to about within the range of about 20 minutes. Big thanks to Legoland, Sea Life Malaysia. I do enjoy the trip over here and the aquarium tour. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you guys like the video, hit the like button, and as usual, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys really soon next week.